To fully appreciate a car like the Bentley Mulsanne, you have to spend quite a bit of time with it, and that's why I'm going to be driving this car all the way from here, the Bentley Drivers Club in Banbury, Oxfordshire, to Le Mans in northern France. I would be travelling as part of a convoy on a pilgrimage to the town of Mulsanne, where the famous 24-hour race passes through. Joining us was a Bentley 8-litre saloon from the 1930s, which used to be owned by W.O. Bentley himself. Its attendance was rather appropriate because the 8-litre was the last proper built from the ground at Bentley until the arrival of the new Mulsanne last year. Everything else in between has been based on a Rolls-Royce or, more recently, a VW Phaeton. So, does the Mulsanne feel like a thoroughbred Bentley? Oh yes. Under the bonnet is a 6.75 litre twin-turbo V8 with more than 500 brake horsepower and over 1,000 newton metres of torque. And in true Bentley tradition, the engine doesn't rev particularly high. It redlines actually at 4,500 RPM, but it is so torquey wherever you are in the rev range. For instance, you can cruise along at 70 miles an hour and it's only pulling 1,500 RPM. But if you bury your right foot into the lamb's wool carpet, the nose rises, the exhaust starts to bellow, and it hurries off down the road at quite an alarming rate. In fact, if I had to sum up this car, it's probably best to describe it as a jet-propelled, stately home. There can be no hiding the fact that the Mulsanne is a pretty big car, but if you find a road wide enough to accommodate it, you'll find that it actually handles surprisingly well for something that weighs 2.7 tonnes. And like a proper Bentley should, you can put a smile on your face down the twisty bits. Ultimately though, the most important thing with a Bentley is of course comfort. And the sumptuous ride and whisper-quiet cabin meant the Mulsanne took the strain at the 120-mile schlep down to Portsmouth. In fact, it was actually a bit of a disappointment to finally arrive at the boat, as it meant we'd have to slum it with the hoi polloi. Thankfully, when it came time to disembark, we were at the front of the queue. After all, when you're in a Bentley, you don't expect to have to wait around. After 3 hours on the ferry, it's great to get back to the luxury of the Bentley. I'm surrounded by walnut, there's 17 hides worth of leather in here, some great features such as these solid metal air vents with the classic Bentley organ stops. I have to say, it's a very nice way to travel indeed. This kind of luxury doesn't come cheap though. The Bentley Mulsanne costs almost £230,000. But you know what? It's worth every penny. And while I was wafting through the French countryside, there was one aspect about the car I came to appreciate more than any other: the seats. Okay, so I spent about 7 hours behind the wheel of this Bentley, and I have to say, it doesn't feel like it at all. It's just so comfortable. For travelling long distances, I can't really think of any other car I'd rather be in. I'll tell you what, I could get used to this kind of lifestyle. Unfortunately, I wouldn't get a chance to as we were nearing the end of our epic journey. However, we'd be going out with a bang because a party was being thrown in Bentley's honour, and we were the guests of honour. Well, we've arrived in Mulsanne with our collection of Mulsannes, and there's a crazy car rally going on, as you can hear, but we've still been creating quite a stir. But it's been the 8-litre that's been getting most of the attention. Well, it was getting the most attention until Bentley's 2003 Le Mans winner, the Speed 8, showed up. Enjoying the sights and sound of this mini car expo was a fitting climax to this most excellent adventure. But it wasn't quite over yet. There was still one thing left to do. See the local mayor present Bentley with the keys to the town. Gifts were exchanged, hands were shaken, and this being France, some food was eaten too. Finally, it was time to leave, and this gave me a chance to reflect. The Bentley Mulsanne, it makes you proud to be British.